Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it, you already know. Like a torta with some bad habits. Bye up, bye up. This is an interesting one. Let's get to the intro. Welcome back to the channel. And if you haven't already hit your like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content that the gun stays kicking. And I appreciate your support, man. I'm very humbled by it. Well, today is Justice for Baby Emmanuel Day. Also, it is Fuck Rebecca and Jake Haro Day. Thoroughly, right? You know how we do it over here on this channel? I'm vulgar, but this is a vulgar display of power. Who sings that? Let me know in the comments. Plea deals. Did you say practice? Plea deals. Why in the hell would Jake and Rebecca Haro even be given the option of, let me put my mic closer. Why would they even be given an option of a plea deal? Where's our option of finding baby Manuel? Where's his option of being loved and hugged and treated right? Where are these stupid ass lawyers' minds at when it comes to offering to animals, to monsters, to failed members of society, right? A plea deal. Well, let me explain to you the situation. The other day they went to court and it was being said over the news that this was a felony conference. So that way the district attorney and the DA and the lawyers of Rebecca and Jake Haro can sit down and have a conference, confer to each other, converse, right? And work out a possible plea deal. These animals should not get a plea deal offered whatsoever. We want a full conviction. We want to see them buried somewhere like they did baby Manuel. We want to see them thrown in the trash because that's what they simply are, trash. Any person or persons that allows a child to be beat, hurt, emotionally disturbed, anything in the negative needs to get a whole lot of negative shit happen to them. That's just how I feel. That's where I stand, right? Not only for baby Manuel, but for all the children out there that are going through distress right now, and also for Promise, who never got justice in the first place. Let's throw the book at them, okay? Now, just because they have this court date does not mean necessarily that a plea deal will even be offered. I believe at this time the district attorney has enough evidence, be it circumstantial, to hold these fuckers accountable. Okay? If they can get a conviction of life imprisonment, okay, I'd be good with that. But there's no way that Jake, the snake, fucking sneaky, wanna get bailed Haro is going to ever agree to a deal where it's a life imprisonment. Okay, I believe at that point, doesn't matter what you're incarcerated for. Even myself, you're going to go all the way to the box because, and going to the box meaning take it all the way to trial, because what do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? Now, it hasn't been said yet if they're going to charge these two with the death penalty. I believe if they were going to charge them with the death penalty, they would need a body for that. It would have to be a little bit more than circumstantial evidence. And of course, I think they would have already announced it. The fact that they're announcing that they're willing to even make deals and sit down with these fucking diabolical lawyers that will represent Jake and Rebecca. And I understand when you're in the public defender's office, you have no choice. It's just another caseload. And public defenders are used to just trying to take deals. See, that's what public defenders do. And it's not a public defender's fault. Doesn't mean they're not a good lawyer. Doesn't mean they didn't go to the same law schools that a lot of these other lawyers went to. But what it does mean is that they are overloaded with cases. They got drug cases, they got traffic cases, they got family court cases. You know, they're just given whatever's thrown on their desk. So their whole ways of thinking and options are, I could try to plead out as many cases as I can. These guys right here, these criminals, are not, in most cases, very smart. There are those that are, but there are those that are not. And if they come manipulating them into taking some time in a deal, that relieves a lot of the pressure of the cases that they got. Not like 2 or 3 more are not going to get thrown on their desk in the next coming days. That's just usually how it goes, right? This is a bigger case, though. This is a child that was killed and is still missing. These are two evil ass people that are sitting down in county jail, eating food that we paid for, breathing the filtered air that we facilitated by our taxes, being housed, showered, provided yard time, canteen privileges, in some cases, from what I'm hearing, tablet privileges. Meanwhile, Emmanuel was not regarded, loved, hugged, kissed on, paid attention to. None of that. He was a child that was brought into a home that was a disturbed horror house, a house where methamphetamines and drugs were being used, a house where family members were sleeping on the couches, in and out. This family member staying one day, this family member staying another day. Just a very disturbing situation for the poor baby Emmanuel, right? We don't even know if the situation was going on with Promise the same type of way. At that time, it was Vanessa Avina, the other wife that Jake Haro was involved with. Rebecca was not even in the picture yet, but she came shortly after and got right into bed with the man who's a child abuser. Wow, what a great move, woman, right? With Jake, we already know what we're getting. A narcissist, asshole, power-driven, power-hungry that beats on women and children. With Rebecca, what are we truly getting? A fucked up mind state. A woman that is very stupid to put herself in a situation with a known child abuser and bring her children around him. And even so much as to just leave her children behind for him. Wow, this woman was super sprung off the dick, right? That's just the facts. Now, Rebecca versus Jake Haro, the plea deal. If you notice the thumbnail, these two are looking at each other with attitude. Because what happened, what I keyed in on the last court date, the continuance that they just had 2 days ago, what I keyed on in the most was the fact that Jake was asking for a continuance for more time to work on his case. In all actuality, what he was doing was he was asking for more time so that he can gather funds for bail. Okay, I did a video on that. That's the truth. Rebecca Haro's lawyer, she has a private lawyer. And that's the way it goes. One gets a public defender, one gets a private lawyer. The reason being, and that's court provided, again, our taxpayer money, right? And the reason being is that the public defenders can't have two different public defenders defend each one of these detainees, each one of these fucking defendants. And the reason is it'd be a conflict of interest. Being that they're husband and wife, they can't be defended that way. Now, they both could have got a joint personal lawyer if they paid for it. See, if you come out of your own pocket, you could do that. But in this case, because eventually, and I believe wholeheartedly, eventually, the truth will come out in trial if they make it there, right? And I believe that they're going to start working against each other. I could already tell Jake the Snake is already going to go against Rebecca. And if Rebecca was a mother, if she truly cared about her child, she would have been already spilled the beans, told the truth, took her time, and be willing to testify against her husband. Look, I'm not promoting snitching or anything, but I think at this case, for baby Manuel's sake, baby Promise, every child that was involved in that household, it ain't snitching when it comes to children, man. Do the right thing, like a Spike Lee movie. Okay, do the fucking right thing. But obviously, Rebecca is more concerned with Jake, and he's not too concerned with her because his lawyer argued with her lawyer for a continuance. The judge, it seems like Jake always gets what he wants, huh? Granted that continuance to give Jake more time to facilitate this money so that he can bail out. But where's Rebecca stand? He's not trying to get her bailed out. He's trying to get up out of there, man, and leave Rebecca right there where the sun don't shine. Meanwhile, Jake's going to be kicking back at home with the ankle monitor, eating peanuts and watching Netflix movies. Ain't going to happen. I don't believe he's going to be bailed out. But if so, then you could tell me I was wrong. Hopefully not. We need to keep his ass as far away from children as possible. And prison and jail isn't far enough. Death becomes him. But they actually went to court and the continuance was granted. Now, if a lawyer is willing to give them a plea bargain, what does that entail? Does that entail a life sentence? Is it less or more time for Rebecca and Jake based upon Jake's history? We got, and this is breaking news for you. I looked up the Jake Haro case with Promise, right? And there's a lot of people that say he got this joint suspension, that he received joint suspension. In all actuality, there was never no joint suspension. Because if there was joint suspension, he would already have been suspended and in the joint. Just because you have a new case doesn't mean you get to sit there and fight it from county. If you violate parole, felony probation, or have joint suspension, you can get your card revoked and go right to prison and come back whenever it's court cases and fight it that way. Now, they're holding him in county jail, so I had to look back into his case factors. He never received a joint suspension. He received 102. He received what they said was a 74-month sentence, but they converted it. They lowered, lessened the charges and converted it to 120 days. He had a few days time served. He got this community service type program, as well as parenting classes and some other classes he had to take, to which he passed with flying guitars, with flying colors, allegedly. It seems like Jake keeps getting luck. He's the luckiest fucking child beater in the world. His luck has finally fucking ran out. I don't believe that the district attorney is going to come with a plea deal, but I'm sure the public defender that Jake has is willing to at least put that out there. He's willing to sit down and try to discuss it and come up with something, because at the end of the day, that's what public defenders do. They want to end this case, wrap it up with the bow, conviction, bye, see you later. I tried, Spencer, on to the next court case, right? Drug court. Rebecca, on the other hand, does have a personal lawyer that was granted by the courts. And so her lawyer wants to get this case done as soon as possible. See, Jake is on a different trajectory. Jake has a history. Rebecca has no history of child abuse. She has no history of convictions other than being a stupid, dumbass mother, right? That's her background right there. That's her history. And it starts way before baby Manuel. It starts with the household, and she has older children. She has a 16-year-old son that we haven't heard about. She has a brother that was caught up in a murder investigation. So she does have a background of criminality, but she doesn't have a record. And that's what saves her in this case. Now, if with that, and if she's willing to finally let us know where baby Emmanuel is and let us know what the fuck is going on, tell the truth for once in her fat ass life, then maybe, just maybe, she can get 15 to 20. I highly doubt it. I'm hoping she gets buried as well, as far away from children as possible. But that's probably not the case. In all actuality and reality, you have to look at the courts, the laws, and man, the courts and laws are not built for actual justice. They're built for just putting on a show, getting rid of these people. It's funny because the people that didn't do it get all day. And the people that did, slap on the hand, slap on the wrist. It's crazy, right? So because Jake has this record, he would be offered a different plea deal. Okay? And his lawyer knows that. So what they're going to try to do is stretch it out as far as possible. At his request, let's stretch this out. Give me time to try to get bail so I can get somewhere, right? Let me get bail so I can get out and work on my case and gather money for a better lawyer. What he should be doing instead of trying to bail out is save that money and get himself a better lawyer, because that bitch is going to need one. Now, on Rebecca's side, and this is the verses, on Rebecca's side, because she has no record, her lawyer wants a fast and speedy. Her lawyer wants to hurry up and go through it because he knows with just circumstantial evidence and with the beaten and battered woman with black eyes, they could somehow prove that she was not guilty of this. Now, that would mean Rebecca having to come clean about this Ola lie, right? This would mean that Rebecca would have to tell them the truth, and hopefully they could push her into telling us where Jake put this baby at, or where she put this baby out, because to me, I think they both know and they work together. And I think a lot more of their family members know. That's why we'll be doing a video later on about the sister. I ain't done with you yet, bitch, right? I got something for her because I found out some information that I think is going to be a little bit mind-boggling, right? It's crazy. How stupid are these people? Literally, how stupid are they? Now, with Jake trying to stretch it out and with Rebecca trying to rein it in at her lawyers, I could only believe that Rebecca eventually is going to come clean. She's probably already told, because of lawyer-client privilege, her lawyer exactly what happened. And he's like, we need to hurry up and get this shit going, you know? So I wouldn't be surprised on October 16th when they have their next court date, which is going to be, I guess, again, the felony conference, where this lawyer and this district attorney is going to sit down and come to some type of agreement or try. Now, from what I'm hearing, and this is just what the district attorney is saying, because they can't say too much, because again, this is still an ongoing investigation. They're still allegedly looking for baby Manuel. But hey, I'm going to tell you guys the truth. I put it bluntly right here. No added preservatives. Hey, the knowledge you can't get in college. This is the way I am. This is the way it is. I tell you guys straight up, without the fucking the legal jargon and all the bullshit. They're not looking for baby Emmanuel anymore. They know he's dead. You know, the detectives, the crime squad, or whatever you call it, they're not going to waste their time looking for a baby they know they're never going to find. Unfortunately, it sucks for all of us that are concerned with baby Emmanuel and want to keep his name alive, but we have to do it this way, by standing our foot on the fucking necks and applying pressure of these people, and hopefully they are convicted for a crime we know they did, but one will never know, will they, right? Rebecca has action. Jake understands that. Jake wants to get as far away from this as possible and make it stretch out as long as possible because he knows ultimately with his record, ultimately with what he did to Promise, and it's going to come up quite extensively if they do go to trial, everything he did to Promise is going to have an impact on Jake, right? Look, I'll tell you guys right now, Jake is doing life plus life plus life, maybe even death. He's gone. And he knows that. So the longer he waits, it's like an illusion, man. It's people that are in prison that know that they did this shit. They're going to wait as long as they can to hopefully get the best deal. The longer you wait, the deal gets great. The quicker it is, well, you already know what it is, all right? With Rebecca, it's a different version of the same thing. She wants to speed it along because if she can somehow get a good deal immediately, then that would take her either to prison. And believe me, she's not going to get out. She ain't Sammy the fucking bull that kills 19 and just gets to walk away. Even he didn't. What's going to happen with Rebecca is there, and this is just what I think, right? Again, you can call my bullshit, but I believe she's going to start working with the district attorney, working against Jake, even though I believe she's as guilty as sin and might have even killed baby Emmanuel herself. But I believe she's going to blame Jakey the Snakey, right? He knows that. And that's why he's trying to separate himself from her. She doesn't realize it yet, but she really needs to, that this man does not care for her, never has. Any man who beats on a woman can tell him he loves them and say he was just emotional and it was the heat of passion. But once you lay hands on that woman, you don't love her anymore. You actually hate her, but you just hate the fact of anyone else to be with her. That's the truth. Domestic situations like that where a man is beating on a woman, right? He doesn't love her. There's no way he could prove it. You don't hurt people you love, especially physically. You protect them. You're supposed to be a protector, a man. That's just what men do. There's two things men do. They fuck as much pussy as they can get, and they protect the women while doing it. That's just man stuff, right? That is not a man. That is a monster. He's an abuser of women. You know, he pursues these type of women that are caught up in these type of situations. Ghetto motherfuckers that have low self-esteem and they feel that they can't leave because they get entwined and tied up with these men that, hey, they're willing to take a beating here and there. And then it starts to become more and more to the point where they either die behind it or they just fucking finally get out of the way. Rebecca, her family abandoned her. She comes from a dysfunctional ass family where her brother's killing his wife or his girlfriends. And it seems like the family members, the grandma's all fucked up looking like a donkey. Yeah, I never seen the baby because they didn't have his shots. Come on. Stop it. My mom would kick my fucking door in and be like, I'm taking that baby. All right. When grandmother's gone wild. Okay. That woman right there, no disrespect to her other than what I've just said, which is pretty disrespectful. But any woman who lies for her daughter or her granddaughter or anything and says, oh, I never seen the baby. Bitch, then what are you doing an interview for? Get the fuck out of here. Come on. The fact is that whole family knew exactly what happened. And that fool Jake, the manipulator he is, was able to convince all you stupid motherfuckers to roll with his punches. Literally, right? That's why half the family members in that family have black eyes. Jake was putting tips on everybody, or they were putting tips on each other. Just a very dysfunctional family. I've been around that type of family. I know exactly what it is. No one could tell me different. Man, a family getting high, selling dope, fucking doing fraud, going to all the fucking canned food store, buying the cheap shit. Look, food stamps in abundance in that family. Just food stamps in abundance, barbecuing all fucking month long until the end of the month, and they're all eating fucking top ramen and beans. I know it. I've seen it, lived it, actually, right? So I say that to say this. This imaginary plea deal, I don't believe there is going to be one. And if there is, I think we will not settle as a society for anything less than life without the possibility of parole. But I believe, and I'm just being honest here, Jake's going to get stretched. No matter if he gets bail or not, he's going to get stretched. And look, he's probably safer inside, locked up, protective custody in that cell. Because if he gets out, okay, if that man gets out, that is a small area. And there's a lot of people that want to get a hold of Jakey the Snakey. You better stay PC'd up, boy. As far as Rebecca goes, I believe she's going to take a 10 to 15-year deal, go upstate, and come back and testify against her husband, Jake Haro. This is just what I believe. As far as October 16th, this conference that they're going to have where the lawyer and district attorney sits down, that's all for show, man. The district attorney would be a stupid ass, even worse than the judge, the last judge, man, and probably would be forced to resign if they offer these diabolical motherfuckers any deal that's less than life. I'll be happy with life. But you know what I'd be more happy with? Them going out there, getting off their asses and finding baby Emmanuel, because that's what the tax money is paying for. So I'm going to tell you guys right now, I don't believe they're actively looking for baby Emmanuel. I think they've given that up. That ship has sailed. Everyone's more focused on Charlie Kirk. And now this other fucking rapper that got caught with the little girl in his trunk. I mean, time moves on, stories move on, gun doesn't. Free baby Manuel and Promise. Jake and Rebecca are starting to turn on each other. I see it happening right before my eyes. The last court case was the telltale sign of it when their lawyers had a discrepancy and argued. Believe me, if they were on the same page, them lawyers would be on the same page. But obviously, Jake is on one, and he thinks his ship is sailing. And Rebecca is on another. Let me know what you guys think. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive and struggle for baby Manuel and Promise. Who else is doing it? I'm fucking doing it. You're doing it with me. We're going to strive. We're never going to stop, man, until justice is had for this baby. I'm getting fucking people saying, damn, Gunner, talk about something else. Talk about something different. That's the problem with society. You guys forget about a baby that's missing and you move on. Guess what? Gun, don't. I'll do other videos, but this is my primary focus. Who's riding with me? Put a 1 and let me know.